We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
Bro, it's been a while.
Dude, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
I got to see you in the flesh in Texas. I think that was just last weekend, wasn't it?
It was,
Yeah,
yeah.
just last week. So we got to hang out. We got to play some disc golf with our buddies from back in the day. We had some beers, maybe some shots. I don't know. We had a little bit of alcohol.
Yeah,
But I
yeah, it's
last saw
fun.
you. I think I last saw you like 2 days before the New Year. So Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, sir.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it was good. I took a long break from not even paying attention to the news, which
felt
was
it felt good, didn't
actually
it?
amazing.
Every time I go a couple days without watching any news, like I'm like, oh, like this is how most people are walking around. Like they're not stressed about any of this because they don't know what's going on. Like perfect.
Right.
I'm jealous of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, speaking of being tuned out to the news, I was pretty tuned out to the news. What was New Year's Day was Thursday. And then Friday, we had people, or I'm trying to think, we had people in town. I was just not paying attention. So Saturday, I had it all cleared out to where I was going disc golfing with a buddy up in it's a town called Pawhuska. I think I've taken you to Pawhuska, Oklahoma before, haven't I?
You have. It's
It's
amazing.
it's
Amazing
where
little town.
it's where they shot the film Killers of the Flower Moon. Awesome little town, great pizza. Anyhow, I'm getting ready to walk out the door at like 7 a.m. and my phone beeps and like alerts me. It's like Apple News pops up, and you won't believe. Take a guess what pops up on my phone at that point.
Well, I know because you called me at 7 a.m.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, dude. So let's just back up real quick. The first ever recipient of the FIFA Peace Prize has bombed his eighth country this year. Like he's the first U.S. president to bomb 8 countries in a single year.
8 countries?
Yeah, I had them all pulled up. Somalia, Yemen, Syria,
Iran.
Venezuela, Iran. Who are we missing? Can't remember the others. I had a list
Okay.
earlier, but yeah. So he's the first. No president has ever.
Cuba.
Cuba. No, we haven't bombed Cuba.
Did
Venezuela,
he bomb a
yes.
Cuban ship or something?
No, I mean, we blew up ships, but those little boats. I don't think we count. But
Okay.
anyhow, yeah, pretty awesome. That's a record to hold right there. And of all people, the recipient of the FIFA Peace Prize is the one that breaks this record with
Totally.
eight different countries bombed in one year. So, for the record, I was about a month early on all this. I think about a month ago, I kept saying like, well, by the next time we talk, like we probably will have struck Venezuela, and I was off by
Yep.
about a month, but. Yeah, I couldn't help myself, and I think I called you at like 7:30 my time, which was 6:30 your time, and you did not sound happy to be woken up at 6:30 on a Saturday.
No, no, you told me that, and I was like, "What? Oh no!" And
I
then
was like,
I hung up the phone. And I was gonna go back to sleep, and then I was like, "Oh shit, what happened?" And I was like, I called you back, and I was like, "Is that legal?"
what's funny is I told you I was like, dude, I was like, we bombed Venezuela and we kidnapped their president, and you were like, what? And I was like, yeah, we went in and got him, and we have him now. Like he's out of the country with us, and we bombed him. And you were just like, huh, like okay, and you hung up, and like 5 minutes went by, and then you called me back, and you go, hold on, wait, so we kidnapped the president? I was like, yes, we kidnapped the president. Is it legal? Probably not, but who's going to do anything about it? Like that's kind of what it comes
Yeah,
down to is like, what are you going to do about it? Like, I'm
right.
sorry, does somebody have a problem? Does somebody want to do something? No, then shut up. Like that's the Trump doctrine right there. So,
Yeah.
um, what's fun is because of that, I had to get into the car and drive an hour and 15 minutes to get to Pawhuska with a guy who's not very political. For the little bit I know about him, he seems like he supports Trump, but overall he's just not political. So I didn't turn it on all day. I was gone until 4:30 in the afternoon, and I was in blackout as to what's going on in Venezuela. So I got
I
home
bet
that
you were
night.
itching a little bit.
Dude,
You're
I couldn't wait to get
scratchy.
him out of the car to turn something on. I was like, what's going on? Uh, but I got home, and by this point, Trump had talked. Trump had, and for anybody watching this who doesn't know, we bombed a bunch of military installations in Venezuela at like 1:30 in the morning Friday night. And while we were bombing them, snuck in some Black Hawk and Chinook helicopters, sent in the Delta Force, like SEAL Team 6 and whatnot. And I guess we blazed through his security guards. We killed 80 people on the military base, and it seems like most of them were like the guards guarding his house. Um,
Yeah, and I found out that he actually didn't trust anybody in Venezuela
they were
to
Cubans.
they were all Cubans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cuban security. That's the way to do it. Um, So and apparently like he woke up to the gunfire and tried to run. He has like a safe room that's made of steel, and like we blew through his security and got into the house and beat him to his safe room. Like he was in it and trying to shut the door as we like came flying in. That's quick. Like I don't know how far his safe room was from the bed, but like from the moment shots are fired, we pretty much beat him to his safe room. So like I'm gonna say a lot tonight, but I'm also gonna say like our special forces is fucking ridiculous. Like the stuff they do is impressive. So that should be known. Good job by the troops doing what they were asked to be done. Apparently also we had some kind of a special blowtorch because we knew about that safe room. So had he made it to that safe room, apparently the Navy SEALs or SEAL Team 6, whoever it was, could have gotten into that room in 45 seconds. They'd been training. They had like mock-ups of this safe room, and they had trained and knew exactly where to hit with the torch to like hit the hinges or something. Anyhow, even if he got in there, we were going to get his ass. So, yeah, he is now in New York about to go on trial. There's a lot of funny stuff. But real quick, one funny thing about this. We invented a cartel, and I kept hearing people say this, but when we indicted him the first time was like 3 years ago, and we said that he was the head of the Cartel de las Soles. And at the time, everybody was like, that's made up. Like that's like saying that a Venezuelan cartel would never call themselves that. Like that's just not how it goes. So everybody was saying it's made up. And I've kind of heard that, but I'm like, who knows? Well, today officially the Justice Department in front of the judge dropped their claim that Venezuela's Cartel de las Soles is an actual group. It says last year, before capturing President Nicolas Maduro, the Trump administration designated Venezuela a slang term for the drug corruption in the military as a terrorist organization and said he led it. So we made up a cartel and said he was the leader, arrested him, and then today in front of a judge had to say, yeah, there was no hotel. We made that up. So anyhow, that's just fun.
What the fuck are we doing?
We're doing fun stuff, buddy. Before we get into all the fallout from us, quick reminder: do you remember when Trump ran in 2016 in the Republican primary? Like his main angle of attack, was that he was always against the Iraq War. He was against these regime change wars. Like that's what he ran on. Like America first, no regime changes. Like let's get out of the Middle East. Like that's what people liked about him. I have a clip of him in 2015 as he was entering the primary, real quick, that I want to play for you.
The world would be better off with Saddam Hussein
100%.
and Gaddafi in power.
100%. Now, as far as Assad is concerned,
what about the human rights abuses?
Let's talk. Well, you don't think they're happening now? They're worse now than they ever were. People are getting their heads chopped off. They're being drowned. Right now, they're far worse than they were ever under Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi. And it all blew up around Hillary Clinton and around Barack Obama. It all blew up. Now, one thing about Assad, not a good guy. I understand that. We have to rebuild our country. Our country's falling to pieces. We have 19 trillion in debt. We have infrastructure that's a disaster. Our roadways, our airports, our schools, everything. We have to start thinking about ourselves. We're pouring trillions of dollars into the Middle East, and we have nothing for it. We have nothing.
I don't disagree with Trump there. Like he's not wrong. Like every time we've gone in and taken out the leader of one of these nations, like it goes to chaos. Like, and then we end up spending a lot of time, money, and soldiers' lives. And when we leave, it all falls apart again. Like, if we had spent 20 years in Iraq, but when we left, it was a thriving democracy, like that'd be one thing. But that's never how it goes. Like the second we leave and stop propping it up, it falls apart. I don't know what happened to that Donald Trump, because the Donald Trump of today wants to take over a lot of places. I don't get it at all.
Yeah. He seemed very angry there too.
He also
and more coherent than he is.
I was gonna say, when I saw that clip, like my first thought was like, oh yeah, that was young Trump. Like Trump, he was firing on all cylinders. He was talking loud and fast. Like that compared to today's Trump, not nearly the same.
No, definitely not.
And I have a clip of Trump we'll compare it to here in a second. But so by the time I got home, Trump had announced that morning, I saw Trump had announced he was going to speak to the nation at, I think it was like 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I was mad I was going to miss it, but I knew I'd see the clips later. Turns out he couldn't wait for that. So he called Fox and Friends like that morning and just started dropping a lot of stuff that it was kind of like, whoa, like, I'll bet the CIA and the intelligence don't want him saying that. But he was talking about different tips we had, and it just the CIA was probably like, hey, shut up. But anyhow, he gets to his press conference. The first clip I saw from this, here's his. You would hope that if we go in and take out Maduro, we have a plan, right? That'd be the.
You would imagine.
Turns out we don't. Okay, but this was his initial thought, I guess. Check this out real quick.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about.
That's what we're all about.
That's hysterical to hear Trump say that's what we're all about. But let's get beyond that. So right there, I'm like, oh shit, like we did this, and our plan was to work. We're gonna do regime change. We're gonna step in and run the country. You can't run the country without U.S. service boots on the ground. Like it's impossible not to. And they asked him after that. They said, "You're gonna run the country with boots on the ground?" And he said, "Oh, we're not afraid of the term boots on the ground. Like we're not afraid of that. If that's what needs to be done, we'll do it." So I was just like, "Oh shit!" Like that's of all the different plans they could come up with. Like that's the worst one. But that's what they picked. Wow. And then throughout the day on Saturday, different figures from the White House kept trying to come out and kind of walk back what he said. Marco Rubio ended up on Sunday morning shows the next morning, and I have a clip from him in a second. But he basically said, he's like, I don't know why everybody's so fixated on us running it. Like, we're not going to be running it. We're going to run it through policy and through a blockade, and he totally backed off it. Now, I'll skip ahead real quick. What they're doing is actually, like, of all the ways to do this, right now it seems like they might be doing it the best way. There's no good way, but of the shitty ways, they're doing it the least shitty way, I think. And it's hard to tell what they're really doing. But what Marco and Tom Cotton are kind of saying is probably the best case scenario.
And this is all about the oil, right? Like,
dude,
this is pretty much like I heard today that there's a company that's going to go in and fix their oil fields so that our oil companies can go in and extract the oil.
So it's not
and that
one
guy's
company.
going to end up making billions of dollars.
Yeah, it's going to take years to get to that point. Like it's not, like we're not going to go in there and next week start pumping oil out. But what's funny is every time they asked Trump, like there was a clip where they asked Trump, they were like, "Hey, are you going to demand that they release all the political prisoners that are being unjustly held?" And Trump goes, "Ah, well, we haven't really thought about that yet. But what we are concerned about is the oil." And like everything they asked him, he kept just taking it back to the oil, and it became real clear. It was like, okay, so this is 100% about the oil. Like that's so.
Yeah.
And also, what they're doing here is, so they basically said, okay, the vice president, who was not elected, he appointed her not long ago. They're basically saying, you know what, she can stay in power. The rest of the like in the regime, there's certain people that like have bounties on their heads. Like the guy that runs their police force is apparently the most corrupt. We're letting him stay there. There's a guy that's almost like the butcher of the administration. We're letting him stay in. So we're keeping the same evil regime in. And we're just taking Maduro. Like, I don't understand that. Like, if that's the case, it was never about dictatorships or communism or, brutal leadership, like democracy. Like, it wasn't about any of that. Like, it's about the oil. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, but even Maduro said you can have the oil.
That's what's weird. I think Trump wanted to flex. Like, I really do. I think he wanted to do some strongman shit and show everybody else that, hey, you mess with me, this is what's going to happen.
Well, now he's talking about going after Cuba and Mexico.
Oh,
Mexico's a weird one.
Yeah. Well,
Greenland, he started the talks of Greenland again.
I've got some stuff on that in a little bit. Mexico is a weird one because the Republicans, ever since Trump's first term, they've been talking about wanting to like send in special ops, Navy SEAL, whatever, into Mexico. And I always, that seems ridiculous to me, but they've been really fixated on that. They want to do it. So I don't know.
That's going to be a night.
Real quick, let's play Marco talking to Kristen Welker on NBC, because I got a kick out of this clip, and I don't think you will at first, but after we watch it, I'll explain.
Let's talk big picture here. U.S. regime change, historically speaking, has not gone very well for the United States. In Iraq, in Libya, to name a few examples. Can you assure Americans, the people of the United States, that this time will be different?
Well, here's what's happened. We've got this phobia built up and this sort of thing that's psyche. Number one, most of the experts that people have on television, I watch these experts and it's clown hour. Okay, these are people that have focused their entire career on the Middle East or some other part of the world because that's where all the action was. Very few of them know anything about Venezuela or the Western Hemisphere. Venezuela looks nothing like Libya. It looks nothing like Iraq. It looks nothing like Afghanistan. It looks nothing like the Middle East other than the Iranian agents that are running through there plotting against America. Okay, these are Western countries with long traditions among their at a people-to-people and cultural level and ties to the United States. So there's nothing like that. So I think people need to stop ascribing the apples and oranges here, the apples of the Middle East to the oranges of the Western Hemisphere.
So his message there is like, oh, well, yeah, it didn't work in the Middle East, obviously. It never did. But this is different. This is the Western Hemisphere. This is the Americas. They're not even comparable. That's his argument there, okay?
Right.
What makes me laugh is, and we're going to talk about the Monroe Doctrine in a second here, but like when we instituted the Monroe Doctrine, it was basically, hey, all of the Western Hemisphere is ours, Europe, stay out of here. And that gave us a green light to then, for about 100-year period, we were going through and tossing out leaders left and right in Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Panama, like we were toppling different governments there left and right over the course of 100 years, and it never went well. Like, oftentimes we do it to a country, and then a year or two later, the citizens would throw out whoever the stooge is that we put in there to lead, and then we'd have to go back and do it again. There was a point where there was one country, and I think it was like Nicaragua or Honduras, where we toppled their government 3 times in 10 years. Because every time we toppled it, they fought back and got their government back. So it never worked well in the Americas. Like, now we haven't done it since the 60s, I want to say. The 60s was the last time we were really screwing around. That was the Cuban Missile Crisis. There was actually
60s. So that was Nixon?
Yeah. See, the Cuban Missile Crisis was JFK, so it might have stopped around there. Just before that, there were some issues in Panama. Like, you know what? I take that back. In the late 80s, we had in Panama, the president was Noriega, and we did the exact same thing that we just did in Venezuela. Like, we sent in the troops and went and arrested his ass, basically, and pulled him out. So that was in, like, 89. So, yeah, we've been screwing around down there. And
Team America, World Police.
the thing that kills me is the reason we have so many immigrants from Latin America that try to come to America is because it sucks down there, okay? Not every one of those countries, but most of them are terrible places to live. Part of the reason that they're terrible places to live is directly because of America's intervention in those countries over like a 100-year period. Like, we kept going in and screwing them up. And then it's like, oh, why do they all want to come here? Because we made their country suck. And the first thing I thought when I realized we were doing this is like, okay, if you didn't like the Venezuelan migrants before, if you thought that was a problem, like there's about to be a lot more of them. And in fact, Kirsty Noem yesterday came out and said that they're basically opening a new portal for Venezuelans to claim refugee status and come to America. Because odds are there's about to be unrest and a civil war and all kinds of stuff like that down there, which is going to be a flood of Venezuelans coming to America.
Wait, so now they're allowing the Venezuelans to come into America?
Yes. So, Chris, yeah.
Amazing.
It's pretty cool. And they just ended the TPS, the temporary protected status of them, because we said that their country's safe. The reason they had TPS is because it was not safe for them to be there. Trump came in and they officially said, nope, it's safe now. So we end this protection, send them all back. And now we're saying, well, okay, you can apply as a refugee because shit's about to get fucked up down there. So,
but they're going to eat the dogs.
No, that's the Haitians, different people.
Oh, the Haitians. That's right.
The Venezuelans take over apartment complexes in Colorado, if you remember that whole thing. That was right before they're eating the dogs and the cats.
That was trendy Aragua.
Yeah. So, and also what's funny is part of the arrest warrant for Maduro was that he's works in conjunction with Tren de Aragua. If you remember back early in Trump's term in like April, the intelligence department under Tulsi Gabbard came out and said that there is no link between Tren de Aragua and Maduro. Like, the two have nothing to do with each other. And Trump and Tulsi Gabbard ended up firing the whole team that put that report together because they put that report together. So that was 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Anyhow,
yeah. They don't know. This is the thing is like, okay, let's just say a regime change in another country is possible. Do you think that Trump and his regime are capable of doing it?
So no, but I also, in their defense, I don't think any American president's been capable of doing. Like, it doesn't work. And also, I'll say this: it seems like that's not what they're trying to do. I think it depends on who you listen to. Like Trump is saying one thing, Rubio saying another thing, Mike Walls at the UN is saying something totally different. But like, depending on who you're listening to, it seems like they're going to let the current regime stay in power. Like, and that's probably the
So
smartest
they
way to
just
do
wanted
this.
to get rid of Maduro and take the oil. That was
Yes.
the two
Yeah.
things. Okay.
The
Did you
narco
see-
trafficking has nothing to do with it.
They don't care about that. Yeah, and we're not even getting fentanyl from them anyway, and that's our big problem, right?
Exactly.
Uh, did you see that I just recently heard, like right before this podcast, that there's actually unrest in Venezuela right now. There's military in the streets, and the thought is that the vice president who's in charge now, like, gave up Maduro.
So, and let me stop you real
And
quick. Yeah, I love this and right now I'm going to call it a conspiracy theory, but I
Mhm.
think it very well might be true. But I'm going to, for now,
Yeah.
let's just say it's a theory. But I'm going to ask you, where did you see that there's like unrest in the streets and military? Did you see that on like Instagram or something?
No, I think it was Kyle and Crystal Ball.
Okay, I'll just say this. I've seen a couple things like that today that like, oh, there's uprisings and this and that. And then it turns out it appears that that's kind of bullshit right now. I think everybody in Venezuela is sitting there kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. Like there very well could be unrest coming, but so far it's not that I've
Okay.
seen. I could be wrong and maybe it just broke out, but the theory that I can't remember her name to save my life, but the lady that Maduro just appointed her not long ago, her and her brother are like cutthroat, ambitious politicians in Venezuela. Her brother was part of Hugo Chavez was a to do a quick history lesson. We were cool with Venezuela, and we had a lot of companies down there drilling oil back in like the 80s, 90s, and then the people down there got very upset, like the poor people. And then this is a very basic history of them, but they basically had a communist revolution. There were fat cats and oligarchs that were getting all the oil money, and it wasn't being spread out to the people. So, communist revolution. Hugo Chavez comes in and he nationalizes the oil, and he says, "Hey, this oil belongs to all Venezuelans. We should all be getting the profits equally. Get all these oligarchs that are keeping all our money out of here." That's what Trump keeps referring to when he says they stole our oil. Like we had American companies down there drilling, and they kicked them all out and said, "Hey, this is our oil. This is the citizen of Venezuela's oil." For whatever reason, every time in history that happens, where there's like a poor citizens uprising to get rid of the billionaires, somehow like a Stalin or a Chavez or a bad leader that's a dictator happens to ride that wave into power and then be just as bad for the people as the oligarchs were. And that's what happened in this case.
I don't know enough about Hugo Chavez, but oh no, never mind. I'm thinking of Che
Yeah,
Lavar.
yeah, different person. Yeah, that was yeah. But Hugo Chavez rose to power. He was president until like 2014, and then I think he died, and then Maduro took over. Maduro was like his number two. They both are crappy people, and I've said this to you several times on the show. Maduro is a bad guy, and he's terrible for the people of Venezuela, and him being gone is a good thing. Like, it really is. The way that we did it, somewhat illegal, I'm not a fan of, but overall, it's good that he's gone. It would be better if we got rid of his whole evil administration. We don't want to do that, and I also think that might be the right call. It's weird. It's weird to be agreeing with what they're doing right now, but like that's the best case scenario.
Well, who was the Nobel Peace Prize recipient this year?
Her name is Machado, I believe.
Machado.
And it was thought all along that if we do this, we're going to kick out the whole regime and we're going to try to install her. They barred her from running in the last election. So they wouldn't let her run. So somebody basically ran with her endorsement, like representing her party. And that person, this is all really confusing, but we keep saying like they won with 70% of the vote, but it was a fraudulent election. So, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, hold on. If it was fraudulent, how do we trust that he got 70% of the vote? I don't want to pretend to understand that, but we seem very confident that person won, and Maduro refused to. He pulled the Trump. He refused to go. Pretty much is what it seems like. So everybody thought she would clearly. She won the Nobel Peace Prize, and she said when she received it that she said she was receiving it in honor of Donald Trump and kissed his ass all along the way. She's been kissing Israel's ass for like the last couple of months. Like she's very Zionist. Like she's doing everything she can to show Trump that she's the person that needs to be in Venezuela. And then Trump comes out that next morning and goes, I don't think it can be her. She doesn't have the respect of the citizens down there, so it can't be her. So the Wall Street Journal supposedly has two sources inside the Trump White House. I don't know if I believe this, but they say the reason he didn't let her do it is because she accepted the Nobel Peace Prize. In his mind, she should have said, no, I refuse to accept it because Donald Trump deserves it more than me. She said it. Instead, that the Wall Street Journal ran with that with two sources. I don't know how much I trust that. It's just funny.
I mean, we know Donald Trump by now, and that sounds so him, so petty him.
It does sound just like him. Anyhow, so back to the girl that he's letting now stay president. Her and her brother worked for Hugo Chavez and worked for Maduro. Like, from all accounts, they are very cold and calculated and like want power. Like, these are not good people. She got named as VP in the last couple of months. Maduro, for whatever reason, picked her. There's a lot of theories that she basically worked with the US, with the CIA, and like basically gave up Maduro, like said where he was going to be, possibly helped like the military stand down in certain, like, supposedly they have Russian air defense systems over there. Like, that's one of the things we're real mad about, is the Russians have supplied them with all these surface to air missiles and all that. And like, we had one helicopter that apparently got shot up a little bit, but was able to fly back all right. Like, other than that, we didn't receive any losses. Like, I would have thought for sure with I think they said over 200 different aircraft were flying over Caracas that night, and not a single one got shot down. Like, it's impressive. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and if it starts to look like the VP gave up Maduro, then there will be problems. Like, there will be different factions of the military that try to take her out. Like, it's really scary because I have no clue which way this is going to go. Like, this could go a lot of different ways. Everything, like, after we struck Iran, Operation Midnight Hammer, like, it was like, oh my God, we're about to go to war with Iran. And then it never happened, and it just cooled down. Now it looks like we might strike them again here in the next month or two. But
well, he said they were planning on it, but they don't need to, is what he said, right?
On Iran?
Oh, you're talking about striking Iran again?
Yeah, he supposedly, it looks like we might strike Iran again soon, it looks like.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Venezuela.
No, so, well, I'm saying, like, right after Iran, when we struck Iran, it seemed like, I remember me and you were like, oh my God, we're about to go to war with Iran. This is terrible. And then it never happened. Like, it just fizzled out. And that could happen here. We might take Maduro, and then it might just fizzle out, and nothing's going to happen. And if that's the case, Trump can claim victory on this.
Peace through strength, right?
The problem with this is, like, when we took out in Libya, Gaddafi in Libya, like, when we took them out for about a year and a half after we took him out, it looked like the right thing to do. Like, you could say, hey, look, success, like, we did it. And it took like a year and a half for that country to really fall apart. When we took out Saddam in, what was that, about 2002? Like, for like 2 years, Iraq was running pretty good. We had our troops all over the place. You could have said victory for about 2 years, and then it started to fall apart. So, like, just because we have we have an election in 10 months, when the election gets here, like, everything still might be pretty cool down there. It might take a year or two for things to really fall apart. We won't know for a while, is what I'm trying to say. And it's very scary. Senator Mark Warner went on the Bulwark today on a podcast, and he's in the Gang of Eight. He's on the Intelligence Committee. Like, of all the senators, he's one who should be getting briefed on this. And they were trying to ask him, and he was like, I have no clue. I have no clue what's going to happen. Like, I have no clue if this. He was in the dark on everything. And the fact that he didn't have any idea what was going to happen scares the shit out of me. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, I'm sure we're going to be fine.
We're going to be fine. We'll be fine. Venezuela might not be fine.
The thing that kills me, why can't our administration get on the same page? Like, Trump saying one thing, Rubio saying something totally different, Lindsey Graham and Tom Cotton are out there saying different things. Like, how come we didn't have a plan that everybody knew?
Yeah, and we basically just went. I mean, should this have gone through Congress?
Oh, that's so tough. Yes, because we bombed, we killed. Right now, the death toll is at 80 people. We killed 80 people. Some of them were civilians. But like, we did a military intervention in a country. Like, theoretically, yes, we should have. Now they're trying to frame it as it was a law enforcement operation with military support. And it's like, nobody's ever tried to claim that before. Like, it's untested, I guess you could say.
No. And what are the other countries saying about this?
There different reactions all around because like some of the countries down there are like fans of Trump, like they like him and they're very proud of it. Other countries are not a fan at all. I know that the Venezuela was supposedly trying to get Colombia and a couple other countries to like band together, like as an alliance against him, and those countries were like, "Hey, keep us out of this." Like they don't want to get in the crosshairs. So
what about Europe? I mean, is Europe talking out? This just doesn't seem like this is a very legal thing to do.
There's been a couple countries, I think like France and Germany said that, this was a violation of international law. And then Britain was like trying to dance the line and not say anything mean about Trump, but also say that they didn't really like how we did this. So
didn't Britain come out and say like we weren't involved in this at all? This was
they did say
nothing
that,
to do with this.
Well, here I'll play you. What's his name? Mike Walls, the guy that is our UN ambassador. Here's how he's framing it to the world because we had to go in front of the UN and justify this. So here's how he's framing it real quick.
Colleagues, the United States successfully carried out a surgical law enforcement operation facilitated by the U.S. military against 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, narco-terrorist Nicolas Maduro and Celia Flores. Colleagues, Nicolas Maduro is responsible for attacks on the people of the United States, for destabilizing the Western Hemisphere, and illegitimately repressing the people of Venezuela. As Secretary Rubio has said, there is no war against Venezuela or its people. We are not occupying a country. This was a law enforcement operation in furtherance of lawful indictments that have existed for decades. The United States arrested a narco trafficker who is now going to stand trial in the United States in accordance with the rule of law for the crimes he's committed against our people for 15 years. A similar action was taken in 1989 against Manuel Noriega.
So, in what he said at the very end there about Noriega, when we did that, same thing. We went in, our military took him, brought him back here to face trial, and it went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court basically said, like, they said, like, yeah, it was probably illegal how we went and got him, but he's here now, so we shouldn't throw out the conviction. We should go ahead and that was their ruling, pretty much. So that's the precedent. So the first thing Maduro is going to try to do is claim like, hey, I'm the president of a country. Like I'm a war or a prisoner of war right now. You can't do this. And the precedent that's been set by Noriega is, well, you're right. We probably couldn't, but since you're here, we're gonna. That's kind of how the precedent worked out, which is funny.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I've been waiting all night to play one clip for you, and I'm very excited to do it right now. Stephen Miller, your favorite Trump administration member. He went on Jake Tapper tonight, and let me zoom back real quick. There's a video of him at Mar-a-Lago on New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve at Mar-a-Lago, all the Trump administration officials are at a party, and fucking Vanilla Ice is on stage rapping "Ice Ice Baby," and they changed the word slightly to be like, "We're gonna call Ice Ice Baby," like calling ICE to remove people. And there's a video of Stephen Miller kind of dancing, but like just moving his shoulders, and it's the sickest thing I've ever seen. Anyhow, Stephen Miller went on Jake Tapper tonight. This was a long clip.
Wait, you don't have that video?
I don't have that. I'm sorry. I'll see if I can put that in post. But Stephen Miller goes on Jake Tapper tonight. Jake Tapper, I cut off the beginning because it took a while to get there. But Jake Tapper asked him, like, so what's your plan? Should they have elections? Like the last election you said was fraudulent. Should they? To me, that seems like the thing we should be trying to force is for them to have their own elections, make sure they're fair, and whoever wins gets to run the country. That was his question. You can't ever get a straight answer out of Stephen Miller. He's always going to try to fight because that's going to equal clips and views and all that.
Sure.
Enjoy this clip of Stephen Miller real quick.
Being able to assert ourselves and our interests without apology. This whole period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling and begging
I don't even
and
know
engaging these
honestly
vast
what you're talking
reparation
about right
schemes.
now.
What I'm talking about, Jake, is the idea. And by the way, you do. I know you love doing that smarmy thing, Jake, and I was hoping to be better than that this time.
I asked you about if there should be an election.
Exactly
I
know
asked you if there would be an
exactly what I'm-
election in Venezuela. That's what I asked. I
I'm
said,
saying-
why was the president so quick to dismiss Machado? You answered
Because
that question.
The objective,
and then I said,
the objective, Jake, is security and stability for the people of Venezuela. With our help and leadership, that country will become more prosperous than it has ever been in its whole history. Venezuelans
But the
will
woman
be richer
running Venezuela
and
right
safer
now is
and
part
more
of the Maduro
secure and
regime.
better off. Well, there will be conversations, Jake, about all of these guideposts along the way. The reason why I was giving you that speech, which I know you didn't want to hear, is because you're approaching this from the wrong frame. This neoliberal frame that the United States' job is to go around the world and demanding immediate elections be held everywhere, immediately, all the time, right away, to create these vacuums.
That's not what I think, but you invaded the country. We went into the country and we seized the leader of Venezuela.
Damn straight we did.
Damn straight we did.
He's so awful. I hate him in every way. The whole thing about, like, ever since World War II, we've been going around apologizing to the world. I have like a totally different view. Like, after World War II is when we became America's police and started kind of going around imposing our will around the world. This is one of those where I'd love to hear him explain what he's talking about there, but I don't get it at all.
None of that made sense. Just like Jake Haver said, he's like, I don't know what you're saying.
He's like, I simply asked you if there was going to be elections. Like, that was the question. How did we get here? Anyhow, I thought you'd enjoy that. I got one more Stephen Miller for you later. That guy's a piece of shit. So going forward, to wrap all this up, it kind of depends on what we try to do. Like, if we let the current regime stay in power and they agree to, like, let our oil companies go down there and start drilling again, like, I guess the country's not going to fall apart. Nothing will really change except our oil companies will be down there. And also, Trump is acting like this is going to be good for America. Like we're going to get part of this oil money. There's going to be some oil companies that are going to get the rights to go down there and drill, and those oil companies and their stockholders are going to do great, and they're going to kick back some money to Trump in the form of donations, and he's going to do great. Most Americans aren't going to see a dime out of this in any way, shape, or form. If you think that we as a country are about to get rich off Venezuelan oil, I'm sorry, but you're going to be really sad in about 10 years when you realize it never happened. That's key.
We are never going to get anything, just like we never do. The big business, big industry, big oil is going to make all the money out of this, and
it's where it's headed. And then also, like, there was an oil tanker that we were following. It tried to go into Venezuela. It tried to get through our blockade. And when we started going after it, it turned around and, like, fled back into the Atlantic. And we've been following it for like a week and a half at this point. Like, I don't know. They said at one point, they were waiting on, like, the proper personnel to come to where they could board it. It's almost back to Europe at this point. At one point, it, like, pulled out like they painted a Russian flag like somewhere on the ship and tried to pull it out and say, hey, we're Russian. And then Russia came out and said, we assume responsibility for that tanker. That's ours. You need to back away. And that happened like 2 or 3 days ago, and everybody was wondering what's going to happen. And it came out tonight that 2 different papers, or CNN and I think the Washington Post, are reporting the U.S. is making plans to intercept the Venezuelan-linked oil tanker that Russia has claimed jurisdiction over. 2 different sources supposedly are saying that. So that's a showdown with Russia right there. Russia has claimed this ship and said, you better not. And for whatever reason, we're saying we're going to do it. That all plays back to Venezuela, but, like, my point is, like, I can't even predict how this is going to go because it could go so many different ways right now. Like, I don't know. Like, we'll just have to wait and see.
I have a feeling Russia has too much on its plate right now. I don't think they're going to do anything about it.
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. Real quick, the Monroe Doctrine. I don't know if you heard the clip. Trump said, we're modifying the Monroe Doctrine. It's called the Donroe Doctrine now, naming it after himself. Yes, he did. So we're doing the Donroe Doctrine.
Is he allowed to modify doctrines?
You know, actually, I'll say this. The Monroe Doctrine, like, has been altered by several presidents along the way. Like, it's like at one point, Theodore Roosevelt had, like, the biggest impact on it, where he slightly altered it. But it was President James Monroe in 1823 is who started the Monroe Doctrine. And at the time, Spain and France, a lot of countries had colonies in South America. Like, Brazil was a Portuguese colony. I can't remember what France had. France had Haiti and something else. Anyhow, they were slowly revolutions left and right, and, like, France and Spain were getting kicked out of South America. And we basically seized that moment and said, hey, this is our part of the world. we promise to stay out of European affairs and y'all stay out of the Americas. Like the Americas are ours. And for the most part, they held to that. And Britain was actually a big backer in that. Britain did not like France and Germany and Portugal and all these countries having colonies in the Americas. So they kind of helped us enforce that. We didn't have a navy at the time, so we needed Britain's help to enforce that. But that went really well for like 25 years. And then, like, the first country, we didn't really like their leader, and we went in and we kicked their leader out and kind of started a revolution. And it went really well, and nobody stopped us. It was like, oh, shit, we can. It was weird. It was like, we can do this, and nobody can do anything about it. So then we just started doing it all the time for like 100 years. That's why South America is so corrupt and terrible. The people argue a lot, like, was the Monroe Doctrine good or not? It kind of led to World War II. Like when we saw Hitler rising in Europe in between World War I and World War II, like there were a lot of warning signs, and Europe especially, England, France, they were trying to get our attention. They're like, America, come here, like this guy is about to try to take over everything. Like we need your help. And we were like, no, the Monroe Doctrine, that's your problem. Like we're not going to have anything to do with it. And then suddenly we got attacked by the Japanese, and now we're in World War II. The people that don't like the Monroe Doctrine would say, like, it's because we were being so non-interventionist that we allowed Hitler to rise. Since then, we've been quick to jump and get dictators all around the world, because the theory is if we don't, it'll turn into another Hitler, and then we'll have to go into a full-scale world war. It's better to nip it in the butt early. That's what the people that don't like the Monroe Doctrine would
So
say.
who's gonna come who's gonna come save us from our dictator?
Nobody. Nobody's going to help us. But we kind of abandoned the Monroe Doctrine after World War II. We were in the Cold War. We were doing all kinds of stuff in Europe. We had Japan. Like we abandoned the whole, like, we're going to stick to our hemisphere. And Trump is pretty much now saying, no, we're back to that. Like, why do we care what happens in the Middle East or in Ukraine or in Taiwan? Like, and that's a whole nother side of this. China's looking at this right now, and all the reasoning that we're giving for why we can go into Venezuela and do this, they could use all that same logic when it comes to Taiwan. Taiwan's closer to them than Venezuela is to us. Problem is, like 90% of like our like good quality high performance chips come from Taiwan, and that's the reason we defend Taiwan. If China goes in and takes Taiwan right now, like we would be hurting so bad. Like our economy would fall apart. During COVID, like remember when automobiles and everything else got so expensive, and they kept saying, "Oh, it's a microchip shortage." It's because they were all coming from Taiwan. Like
Taiwan.
So anyhow, if you're China right now, you're looking at this as like, do we have the green light to go for Taiwan? It seems like we do. Like we could just use America's logic and go get Taiwan. So
Interesting.
So we'll have to see. I think that, like I said, I think this is going to be like over the next 2 years, we're going to have to see what happens with Venezuela. But right now, I'm going to give props to Trump. He didn't start at the right answer. He started with, we're going to run Venezuela and we're not afraid to have boots on the ground. But he did, after 2 days, arrive at the right answer. So you got to give him some credit there. And they seem to not be doing regime change, which is good.
How long do you think it is before there's a military coup?
That's the problem, is that could happen, especially if it starts to look more and more like the vice president set up Maduro and gave him up. Like that's what would be a problem. And she's come out and said some blusterous things like, "Oh, I demand they release him right now." But I think she has to do that. Like that's kind of a wink nod. Like when she says that, America's like, she has to say that. It's okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now Trump, over this weekend, Trump has pointed out that Colombia, Mexico, Greenland is suddenly fully back in the crosshairs. Katie Miller, let's get to this real quick. Katie Miller is Stephen Miller's wife. She has a podcast that nobody watches. She's just as awful as Stephen Miller. Like 2 hours after it got announced that we got Maduro, she posted a picture of Greenland, like covered in the American flag, and said something along the lines of, "This is next," or something along those lines. And everybody was like, "What the fuck?" And then I think Elon like reposted it with an exclamation point. And it's like, oh, like why? What are we doing? It's a totally different thing too. Denmark is a close ally of ours. Yeah. They run Greenland. They let us have a military base there. The reason we say we need it is to basically make sure and have defense in like the Arctic Circle. And like they let us have a military base there. What else do we need? It's the rare earth minerals is the short answer.
Right.
But part of the
So we're
same
just conquering more. So we're just back to conquering.
Trump is all about land acquisition right now. Like he wants to be remembered for something. And I said this 6 months ago, but I think he really thinks if he can grow America, make America bigger, he'll go down in history as the president that did that, and he'll be favorably remembered. I think that's what he's trying to do.
But he's not going to be favorably remembered. Like, he doesn't understand that, like, going in and taking over a country at this point in time is not a favorable thing.
I think it's safe to say that in 20 years, we'll look back at what we did in Venezuela and it'll be just like Iraq. It's like, what were we doing? Maybe not.
We're already saying that. What are we doing?
Like I said, I think there's going to be a short period of time here where Trump's going to try to claim victory on it and say, look, nothing bad happened. Everything's fine. And it's going to take a year or so till the bad happens.
What is MAGA saying? Are they jumping ship on Trump now?
Dude, that's the most depressing part. They were all about the whole no new wars. And the reason I like Trump is he's going to... Anyhow, we have a mutual friend. I'm sure you saw the message. Our buddy that we were drinking with in Texas sent a Instagram message to like 8 of us. And it was
I don't think I was on that.
Oh, I think you were. You were definitely on that.
Oh, I've been on Instagram a while.
Yeah, it was on Instagram. But it was our buddy that we always go find at the bar. Yeah, and he sent a video to several of us, and it was basically like, "Fuck yeah, like America's awesome." Like it was our military and stuff, and it was right after the Maduro news came out. So I was like, "Oh, he's apparently thrilled about this. Okay, cool." And then I saw our other buddy that played rugby had a very lengthy Facebook post about how he thought this was so awesome, and then. Right now, I've got a MAGA in my house. Don't be panicked, but I have a MAGA in my house right now. And I was talking to her last night, and I was like, yeah, well, what we're doing in Venezuela, and she was like, oh, I just love how he doesn't screw around. Like Maduro was doing this, and we just went in and got him, and I think it's great. And I was like, okay, so yeah, I'm gonna say that it's one of those where MAGA's like. America first, no new wars, don't be spending our money in other countries. But then Trump does it, and they're all just like, oh, yeah, we like this. And it's like, what? They don't have any principles, man. It's really annoying.
Right. It's almost like if Trump came out and was like, yeah, I was diddling kids with Epstein. They'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? It's kind of where it's at. Anyhow, back to Greenland real quick. This is the other clip of Stephen Miller. I apologize in advance. This one's longer. But Jake Tapper tried to ask him about his wife posting that comment about Greenland. It went just like every other Stephen Miller clip. Here you go.
Important topic. The premier of Greenland and the premier of Denmark and other Danish officials are responding to a Twitter post from your wife, Katie Miller, herself a former Trump White House official, showing Greenland covered with an American flag, saying soon. After that was posted, President Trump repeated the claim that the U.S. needs Greenland for national security reasons. The Danish prime minister responded to this in an interview earlier today, as reported by Bloomberg, quote, I believe one should take the American president seriously when he says that he wants Greenland, but I will also make it clear that if the U.S. chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO, and thus the security that has been established since the end of the Second World War. Can you rule out that the U.S. is ever going to try to take Greenland by force?
Well, let me go back a step. The president has been clear for months now. So I know you're treating this as breaking news. The president has been clear for months now that the United States should be the nation that has Greenland as part of our overall security apparatus. The United
right,
States,
but your wife posted that like hours after the Venezuela operation.
No, but
that's why it's newly relevant.
No, I'm not, and I'll talk with you about it for an hour. I think it's a really important conversation. I just wanted to reset, Jake, by making clear that it has been the formal position of the U.S. government since the beginning of this administration, frankly, going back into the previous Trump administration, that Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Right, but can you say that military action against Greenland is off the table?
It wouldn't be military action against Greenland. The Greenland has a population of 30,000 people, Jake. The real question is, by what right does Denmark assert control over Greenland? What is the basis of their territorial claim? What is their basis of having Greenland as a colony of Denmark? The United States is the power of NATO. For the United States to secure the Arctic region, to protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States. And so that's a conversation that we're going to have as a country. That's a process we're going to have as a community of nations.
So you can't take
it
off the table that the U.S. would use military force to seize Greenland. You can't take it off the table.
Jake, I understand you're trying very hard to, which again is your job. I respect it. It's great to get exactly the headline, right? That catchy headline.
I'm just trying to get an answer to the question.
That says Miller refuses to rule out the United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland. So
One last question,
Stephen.
Stephen.
Doesn't make any sense.
One last question.
Nobody's going to fight the United States over.
His basic argument comes down to who's going to stop us. Like that was basically the way I took that.
Yeah.
And he said, what territorial claim do they even have to Greenland? And it's been part of Denmark for, I don't know, 150, 200 years at this point. Who's going to stop us? Who are we going to fight? Nobody's going to stop us. Who's going to stand in our way? And also, the polling has been pretty overwhelmingly. The people of Greenland don't want to be part of America. Like 90% do not. And we sent Don Jr. and somebody else over there at one point to try to rile up people. It didn't work. They want nothing to do with being part of America. So
right. Isn't Don Jr. and like Usha Vance go over there or something?
No, Usha went with JD over there. Her and JD went over there, and they were supposed to go like tour like a village in Greenland, and people over there were gonna protest so much that JD and his wife ended up just going to a military base.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the people of Greenland don't want to be U.S. citizens.
Yep.
So.
Well, what are they going to do about it?
If we take it over, then we're basically taking something from Denmark, our NATO ally, and disrupting what the people of Greenland actually want.
Yeah, but who cares what they want?
Right.
They should be honored that we're going to let them be part of America. Like, that's the way you got to look at it. What's funny is
they have free healthcare, free education.
There's people that really genuinely look at it that way, and they're like, of course they want to be Americans. Everybody wants to be Americans. And those people haven't traveled outside of America much. Like that's the way I look at it. Like if you haven't ever left America, like you kind of have a vision like the rest of the world is not as good as America, and they all wish they were us. And like to a degree, there are a lot of countries where everybody would like to come to America, for sure. But there's also a lot of countries where they laugh at us and they don't want anything to do with us. And that's just the reality of the situation.
Right. There's a lot of countries that are not doing very well. South America, Middle East. But if you go to any of the Asian countries or Europe, like they look down on us like, what the fuck are Americans doing?
They didn't always, but I feel like they are at this point. So
it probably started with social media.
Yeah. Oh, man. We're just putting our ignorance on display for the world.
Exactly.
I've only got 2 more quick videos. Do you have anything else you want to cover before we wrap this up here?
No, I think we stick on this topic. This is
okay. Well, I'm gonna venture off for a second just because I thought this was funny. Maha. We haven't talked about Maha in a while. I feel like it's flying under the radar, but the EPA keeps doing things to like let people pollute our water supplies, things like that. And like to me, it seems like that should be a thing Maha is very much about. They're getting ready to do one more thing. And I will say this lady that I'm about to play, she's on Fox News and she's a Maha style lady. And she's trying to raise awareness to what Republicans are about to do. It's not going to work and Republicans are going to do it anyway. But check out this from Fox News real quick.
House Republicans are slipping something into our new spending bill. It is Section 453, I believe, which would give immunity to huge pesticide companies. I think it would cover 57,000 different chemicals. And these are chemicals that have been linked to cancer and Parkinson's and infertility. And House Republicans are just slipping it in, which feels like they're giving the middle finger to Maha. And so while I am excited about getting rid of paper straws, and I hate them, I think any girl who enjoys her iced lattes every day wants them gone. But it feels like this is a bigger issue that we should be talking about if we're concerned with the chemicals and that sort of thing.
I've seen her before.
I actually liked her because they brought her on because Florida is banning paper straws. Now, here's the thing. I think the Democrats were dumb when they banned plastic straws in some states. I think California, might have been the only one to do it, but they banned plastic straws. I'll tell you this. I don't like the paper straws. Don't like them at all. I get that single-use plastics are an issue. I totally get it. I also don't like paper straws. Just tell them.
Why even needs a straw? Who needs a straw?
At one point I even bought one of those like metal straws that you like keep in your pocket all the time.
Good.
I always
Yeah.
forgot to bring it with me. But
What in your car? I don't know, man. Like the plastic is a ridiculous issue, and I have a strong feeling about this, our plastic problem and our unreusable, unrecyclable problem that we have in this country. It is ridiculous, and we should get rid of plastic straws.
okay, but do you hear me when I say I agree. The single-use
You didn't
plastics
agree.
no, I said single-use plastics are a problem. We got to do something about it.
Uh-huh.
But I don't like paper straws. That's my comment. I think they're come up with
What's
something
wrong
better.
with a paper straw?
I don't like them at all. I hate everything about them. When I go to
What's
a
wrong with
restaurant, when I go to a restaurant and they give me a paper straw, I don't use it, and I drink from the rim like a man. But I want a straw.
Yeah, like a man. Drink
Yep.
from the rim like a normal human being. You don't need to drink from a straw. First of
Sometimes,
all, none of us need to drink from a straw.
sometimes I like to drink from a straw. So, what's funny there? Let me just say, is that they brought
You
her
know how
on.
Jesse Waters always calls people unmanly for drinking milkshakes and all
Yep.
that stuff. I'm gonna go with it's unmanly to drink from a straw.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with you can try to what's the word for that? I feel like that's not PC of you, but I can't think of the right word there. Uh, I don't know what you would call that. Isn't that a thing where you're trying to make me feel like less of a man? I don't know.
Yeah, because you drink from a straw.
Okay. Very Republican of you is all I can say. I can't think of the right word for that. But they brought her on there because Florida banned paper straws. Here's the thing: if a restaurant wants to go green and say, "Hey, we're going to use paper straws," that's their right. Let the I don't want the state getting involved in a restaurant's decision on what kind of straws. Florida officially banned paper straws. You're not allowed to have them anymore. They brought her on to talk about that, and while she was on, she was like, the more important thing is, and then she slipped in the whole pesticide thing on him, which I thought was very, very slick of her to do. But we're giving immunity basically to all the pesticide companies for 57,000 different pesticides that are proven to cause cancer and all kinds of other issues. Like that seems very maha of us. Like that's something
And then they're
where,
taking away health care for millions of Americans. So
yep, it's no
it's
big
kind of like
deal.
they're just
Man.
trying to kill us. They're kind of trying to slowly kill us.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so how did Florida ban paper straws? Like how did they pass that through legislation?
The governor did like an executive order basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
count?
No
do
paper
that?
straws allowed. I don't know who's going to stop him. I think that's the theme for Republicans at the moment is who's going to stop me. Like that's kind of
Is DeSanctimonious still the
yes.
governor there? Okay.
Yep. So, and
What an
also
idiot.
while we're talking about Florida real quick, like how Florida used to be a swing state, and in the past couple elections, it's pretty much been red. It's not really a swing state. All this stuff in Venezuela is going to lock down Florida for Republicans for the next little bit because there's a huge population of Venezuelan and Cuban Americans in Florida that they love this. Like they're all about this. Like from a electoral standpoint, this helps Trump in Florida or the next Republican, whoever it might be in Florida, big time. Like there's a lot of them down there, and they're celebrating this. So anyhow,
okay.
yep. All right, only one more clip, then we can get out of here. We got to do a check-in on the economy, just because I like it when Fox News says negative things about the economy. This lady, and I don't remember her name right now, she's always the one that gets tasked with like breaking the news that things aren't going well in the economy to like the Fox News viewer. And I don't know why it's always her, but she's the one that has
When
to
is
tell.
she on? Like middle of the day when nobody's watching?
Yeah, middle of the day on Fox Business. So yeah, probably. But she's the one that always tells it like it is. So I give her credit for that. Here she is talking about tariffs and their effect on manufacturing.
In the ISM. So ISM for December was lower. It's still it's still contracting. We're still in a manufacturing recession. It's only manufacturing has only expanded twice since the fall of 2022. And just looking at the percentage of 85% of the sector's GDP contracted in December compared to just 58% in November. And if you read the commentary, it's costs, and they blame tariffs. All of the businesses that are quoted say that those are huge headwinds, and it's still impacting their business. And
manufacturing is still declining, and they blame tariffs. The Supreme Court is still supposed to rule on tariffs like any day now. I don't know when we're going to get that ruling, but it should be coming soon. So,
Oh, so Did anybody argue with her about that, or was
No,
there
not really.
any?
They every time she says it, they all just kind of move on. Like as soon as she's done, they spin it back to something good about Trump as fast as they can.
And she doesn't say anything confidently. She's very just head down.
She says it like she doesn't want to be saying it. Like,
Yeah,
why are you making me do this?
she kind
Trump's.
of mumbles a
She's
little
probably
bit.
she's in her mind. She's like, Trump's going to tweet about me. I know it. He's going to tweet that I'm stupid and that I'm lying. Like so
Yeah.
far, he's never attacked her. She's been on Fox Business for I feel like a decade. So I don't know,
Okay.
but anyhow, the one good thing I will say, if Trump was looking for a distraction, Venezuela has done it. Nobody's talking about Epstein for the past 3 days. Nobody's talking about the tariffs. Nobody's talking about the economy. All we're talking about is Venezuela. So if that was part of
That's
his
true.
goal here, it's working.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Venezuela, Venezuela, Venezuela.
So we're not at war with Venezuela. We did a what they call it, a Department of Justice police arrest, pretty much. Can't remember what they called it. Yeah, we just went and arrested him, and we killed 80 people while we were doing it. No big deal.
No big deal. It's gonna be fine, man.
There's going to be a movie about the raid. That's the thing I like the best. Like, you know, the movie Zero Dark 30 about when we went and
yeah.
got bin Laden. Like, there's going to be a movie at some point about this Maduro raid. And, like, it honestly seemed like, from just a tactical standpoint, like, whoa. Like, our fucking armed forces are pretty cool. Like, however we did that, we landed, what did they say? It was like 200 aircrafts and like 150 people on the ground at one point. Like, we got 150 soldiers into there, got him out, and got back out before losing a single person. Like,
Without losing a person or an aircraft or anything else.
that's impressive as hell. So props to our military.
But I mean, hold on. Look,
Okay.
we say it's impressive, but also we're fighting the Cuban guards or whatever he has. We're not really
But
fighting a military or even a military force that knows what the hell they're doing, who's ever even actually been in a war. Has Venezuela ever actually been in a war?
I don't think so.
What do you think
Yeah.
their Department of Defense budget is every year?
I'm not sure. I've seen they have some big military ships. I've seen videos of those. I don't really know, but yep, he froze on me for a second there.
I said they don't even know how to use the ground to air missile defense.
Oh man. Yeah, well, that's the thing. They supposedly have like Russian air defense systems, which were supposed to be really good and didn't seem to be.
They don't know how to use them apparently.
That's honestly that's part of the reason I think the vice president gave up the president. Like if she somehow had the military stand down or something, that would make a lot of sense to me. Like she turned off the air defense system basically to let our choppers come in. There's nobody saying that. I'm just saying like that would make more sense to me than the fact that we got in and out without any problems. Like somebody was helping us, I feel like.
Yeah.
And also,
that okay,
real quick, you know who should be really active in all this? This is just one of those things I'm noticing. Tulsi Gabbard's the director of national intelligence. Like she should be the one briefing the senators on all this. She should be talking to the media. Like she hasn't been anywhere on this, and she was real big on the whole like no regime change wars. Like that was the reason Joe Rogan loved her, is because she wanted to end all these foreign wars. And like, where is Tulsi at? I haven't seen or heard from Tulsi in I don't know how long. Like
it's been a while.
Like I said, it should be her and Marco Rubio out doing all this stuff, and it's like she's been sidelined and Rubio's doing all of it, and I have no clue what she's doing these days. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Just
that's
food for thought.
Good call. I forgot she was even in the administration.
And again, she spent the last couple of years talking about ending these foreign wars, and now Trump is doing all the things he's doing, and it's like, how can she, with a good conscience, go out there and defend what he's doing? So I think she's
8 countries bombed
by the FIFA prize winner. That makes no sense. I mean, it makes no sense at all. So, anyhow, that's all I got, sir. Have a good night.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later.
Later, buddy.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.